Hello, this is Victor. I'm reading from Proverbs 13, verse 1. It says, "A wise son heeds his father's instruction, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke." And I'm going to see if I could do one in English and do one in Spanish. And when I read this, right away, my thoughts go to maybe some time that I had told my sons to do something and they didn't do it. And then I start thinking, well, how about God? Has he asked me anything and I haven't done? And the answer is yes. Right now, right now, today's 13th, and we're doing the Proverbs 13. And I must admit that God has asked me to do things, or maybe I feel that God has impressed on my spirit that I should be doing something, and I don't do it. Um, I always have in the back of my mind of a dream that I had, where I was in New York City, and people were giving me their children to raise up. I don't know. I don't know if that was a prophetic a dream, or if it was too much pepperoni that I ate the night before. I don't know. But those kind of things, they stick in your head. See, how weird is that? But thinking of going now would be really weird. I can't even get my relatives to pick up the phone when I call them up in New York. And I guess part of that problem is mine, because I really didn't visit, or how do you say visit, or call them up, you know. I mean, and now I called up an aunt that lives in the Bronx, and I also called up a family friend who lives in Queens, so not too far away from JFK. And it just seems that it's hard for me to keep in touch with people, like that. I don't know why. I should keep in touch with people more and more, especially my aunt in New York. She's not feeling good, so I should call her up and everything. And but when God impresses something on your heart, I don't know. Do I have enough faith to go to New York? Where would I stay? All these questions come. Where do you stay? It's too cold to sleep out in the streets. Where do you stay? You know, everything is expensive in New York. Where do you what are you going to do until But God does say that He will supply the needs. But am I in the right spot? That's another thing that I have to think of. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just my mind. I don't know. But Proverbs 13:1 says, "A wise son heeds his father's instructions, but a scoffer does not listen to rebuke." A person who's a scoffer. And when I read that, let me just see if they have this in other. I just want to see the definition of scoffer. This way, we can make sure that we have this thing going on here. Let's see here. Paste and search for scoffer. And this here says scoffer definition and meaning on dictionary.com. It says a person who mocks or makes fun of someone or something, often of religion or moral values. We need courage when facing scoffers who jeer at our faith and make ironic comments about it. Let me see what and that's dictionary.com. I like to use Webster's. They've been around for how long? It was probably the first one that I ever heard of. First dictionary definition of scoff: an expression of scorn, derision, or contempt. An object of scorn, mockery, or derision. It's the same thing. And if they use it like in a sentence, they always have that. I always like that. Definition of scoff: to show contempt or derisive acts or language. To treat or address with derision. Derision, if I'm saying it right. Look at this. A transitive verb: to eat greedily. No? Scuff something down, I guess. Often used with up. Scuffed up with free gifts. I don't know. To eat something greedily. 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 Let's see here. Choose the right synonym for scoff. Scoff, jeer, gibe, feeler, fleer, sneer, flout. Huh. Where is it shown in a sentence, though? Let me see if they... 14th century. Wow. The meaning defined as sense. Let me see here. I thought they would have something here, like using it in a sentence, but I don't see it. Anyway. Actually, people put it in some of these verses here. Let me see if I can find it in other versions. Let me see. NIV, but that gives you a good idea of what this is anyway. Proverbs 13. NIV, the non-inspired version, as some people might say. It says here, a wise son heeds his father's instructions, but a mocker does not respond to rebukes. Or, I guess we could try it in another version. What would be another version? The New Life version. There you go. Let's try the New Life version. It says, a wise son listens when his father tells him the right way, but one who laughs at the truth does not listen when strong words are spoken to him. All right, well, I don't know. That sounds kind of out there. This translation, what was the other one? I used to like New Living Translation. There it goes. And it says here, a wise child accepts a parent's discipline, but a mocker refuses to listen to correction. So there it goes again, using the word mocker instead of scoffer. But anyway, it kind of tells you more or less what is the story with that. Verse 2 says, wise words will win you a good meal, but treacherous people have an appetite for violence. Well, wise words will win you a good meal, but treacherous people have an appetite for violence. Okay. Let me see what other versions look like in verse 2. It says, but the fruit of their lips, no, it says, this is the NIV, Proverbs 13:2. It says, from the fruit of their lips, people enjoy good things, but the unfaithful have an appetite for violence. Oh, that's pretty hard there. Let's go to the New King James Version, which is my favorite one. It says, verse 2, 13:2 says, a man shall eat well by the fruit of his mouth, but the soul of the unfaithful feeds on violence. But the soul of the unfaithful feeds on violence. People who are violent. Those are pretty problematic people. And I'm just going to leave it here. I'm going to read the rest of the verse, but I don't want to make this thing too long because this thing has a lot of verses here. This goes on and on and on for 25 verses. I'll read that, and I just wanted to make a nice little short video here about Proverbs 13. Okay, God bless everybody. Bye.